Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings.
Hey guys, good morning. It's Pastor Bob here. I am so sad that we don't get to meet right now, but we got this whole coronavirus scare going on, and I want to assure you guys that everything's going to be okay, and we'll be back together soon enough. But boy, do I miss getting to see you guys every week. So I thought that maybe for children's ministry I could just do some video lessons. So I figured, hey, what better thing to do than to go back to the beginning in Genesis, and let's kind of start over, but I'm going to be moving really, really fast, okay? All right, so if you're ready, we'll get started. If you remember, in the beginning, in the book of Genesis, God created the heavens and the earth, and he made all the plants and animals and everything to go with it. And on day 6, he made both a man and a woman. And he gave them one rule. He said, don't eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Everything else you can eat from. Eve, she gives in and she eats from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and then she gives some to her husband, Adam, who also eats. Now, if you remember this story, you remember that God had said, if you eat of that tree, then you will surely die. So God said, if you eat of this tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you will surely die. But did he say, if you eat of it, you're going to drop dead? No. He didn't say that. So what happened was he put them out of the garden and their bodies began to slowly die. Before that, they were meant to just live and live and live forever. And they were also, something happened, was that they were separated from God. Their relationship was now broken. Kind of like when we disobey our parents and we feel like something's just not right between us until that's made right later, either by us or by our parents. I'll be talking about that more in the weeks to come. Adam and Eve have a son, and they name him Cain, and they have another son, and they name him Abel. And later on in the story, Cain and Abel bring their sacrifices to God, and God accepts Abel's sacrifice, but not Cain's. Well, Cain gets so jealous that he winds up killing his brother Abel. Then Adam and Eve had another son, and they named him Seth, and that's where Jesus comes from. And so time goes by, and people begin to populate with the sons and daughters that Adam and Eve had, and the earth starts filling up with people. Well, God looks down and he goes, oh, these people, they just continue to get worse and worse and worse. Nobody's listening to me anymore. I think I just want to start over. And so he looks the earth over and he finds one man who's doing what's right. There's only one guy on the whole planet that is in love with God the way he ought to be. And so he picks him out and he calls his name. He says, Noah. And Noah says, yes, Lord. And he says, Noah, I'm gonna do a do-over. I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna destroy the entire earth. I'm gonna need you to build a big 2 of each kind of unclean animal and 7 of each kind of clean animal, because they had to have stuff to eat. And so Noah goes into the ark, and the Lord makes it starts raining. Well, it had never rained on the earth before this. And scientists believe that there was a water canopy that surrounded the whole earth at this time. And what happened when the flood came was that the water canopy was released, and all that water that was stored up above the clouds that made the earth like a tropical paradise was released all at once down onto the earth. Wow. It was some flood. It covered the whole earth with water, even Mount Everest. Can you imagine? Well, Noah stayed on the ark for a year, the Bible says. And then finally the flood waters receded and the ark came to rest in modern-day Turkey. And when they came down from the ark, they started settling in that area. And as time went by, more and more people began to populate the earth. And God had said, I want you folks to spread out. But what did they do? No, they didn't spread out. They all wanted to stay together because they were family, right? That's what we would want to do. So, back to our story. There's this guy named Nimrod that was born, and Nimrod means great and mighty hunter. And so this guy was very famous, most popular guy in all the land, and he comes up with this idea to build this tower. He says, hey, let's build this tower to reach to the heavens. And God looks down and he goes, oh, no, this is not what I want. I want you guys to spread out. Why won't you listen to me and spread out? And so God devises this plan. He says, I know how to get them to separate. I will go down there and confuse their languages. And so God comes down and he confuses all of their languages, and that makes the people that can't understand each other. And so they start dividing up, and some go this way and some go that way. And that's where all the languages of the world came from. Well, as time goes by, there in that very land where the Tower of Babel had been built, a man is born, and his name is Abram. And God calls down to Abram. He sees Abram and he says, You know, Abram, even though you don't have any children, I am going to make of you a great nation. Abram, you are going to have so many kids that it's going to be like the stars in heaven. You'll never be able to count them, or the sand on the seashore. But here's what I'm going to need you to do, Abram. I'm going to need you to leave your family. Wait, what just happened? I was watching the video, all of a sudden it went off. Pastor Bob was talking about Abram and a promise God was getting ready to make. What happened next? What happened next? You're going to have to tune in next week to find out. I miss you guys, and I'll see you next week. Love you all. Bye-bye.
It's a letter from God that sets everyone free.